Thank you. We'll proceed to the next agenda point. We'll proceed to the reports of the team. We first will take the sorry for the confusion. Okay, so we have the motion of the accepting the late submission of the reports. It's proposed by the executive. I will read out the motion. The 65th EPSA General Assembly accepts the late submissions of the annual Congress reports 2022-2023 for the following position. Outside coordinator, publications coordinator, then of public relations. With the motion articles 4.1.3, 5.5.6, and 8.2.2.4 of the terms of reference shall be overruled. I'll open up the floor for discussion. I do not see any comments. Gabriel? Gabriel? Sorry, no. Okay, Gabriel drops. Afab, go ahead.
Elena, after poster, I want to, are there like special reasons for the late application? Thank you.
Thank you, Afab. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, this will have to be up to each individual.
Thank you. Do we have any reply to that? Faye, go ahead.
As part of my report, my email was not going out for
Thank you. Do we have any more comments or remarks about this motion? I do not see any. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, then I close the floor.
Thank you, Gabriel. Then we'll proceed to vote on the motion that read the 65th General Assembly accept the late submission of the annual Congress reports 2022-2023 for the following positions: only coordinator, publications coordinator, advocacy platform coordinator, and vice president of public relations. With this motion, Article 4.1.3, 5.6, and 8.4 of the terms of reference shall be overruled. I'll ask the floor who is against. Any abstentions? And who goes for? Carried. We'll proceed now to the reports of the administrative department. And here we will start off with the report from Gabriel. Go ahead, Gabriel, with the updates.
Gabriel, President. Sorry.
Go ahead, Gabriel.
Gabriel, President. So before we start the report, we wanted to have a word for you. So before going through the reports, we just wanted to remind that these reports are really important, not only as a knowledge transfer tool, but also for you to be updated in relation to what we are doing and to be able to scrutinize the team's work. There are two reasons for which you may decide to not approve a report. Either it does not reflect the work done in the period it covers, or you are very unsatisfied with the work done in the period covered by the report. If you feel like the report does not reflect the work done, you can also propose a procedural motion 9.6 and ask that the point of that report is labeled as different to a specific point to the GA, so that the team member can update the report as per your comments so that it does reflect the work done in that period. This has been done several times before and is a preferential route in this case because it would give people a chance to pick it up. If you are very unsatisfied with the work done, you can also vote against the report. So you are aware the consequence that comes from a report not being approved is that the team member is no longer eligible for team fund, meaning that their expenses with EPSA events are not reimbursed. All this said, we want to encourage you to ask questions in all our reports, as answering before the General Assembly is also the biggest accountability system we have. You should not be left with questions or doubt. Make sure that you're making an informed decision when you vote, and that your vote reflects what the students you represent.
Okay, Gabriel, go ahead.
Gabriel Jackson. I will pass the chair to Marlena for this one.
Thank you, Gabriel. You can still go.
Alrighty, so since starting my report, I read and asked questions on the team's reports, I answered the questions on my own reports, I attended and shared the fifth team meeting, I helped with everything needed for the annual Congress and General Assembly, and created the Telegram groups for the elected team members. I also worked with Katerina on the signing of the EPSA collaborative agreement. I liaised with EASB regarding the invitation to be present and speak at the annual Congress, and I sent the website restructure query to the EPSA team and before you go into questions, I will already have the opportunity to thank everyone individually at the end of the GA, so I don't want to go too long. But as this will be my last year report this Monday, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank the team for their work, and my admin department, really simply. One day we'll have our first department meeting, I promise, but it will be in Portugal at the beach, and there will be nothing for retirement on the agenda. I would also like to thank my HR department, Marlene, my STAR department, Katrina and Theo, for having your vision aligned with mine and for always trying to move forward and innovate. This year was not easy, and I feel that I have learned, and I know with really high positions that I passed on to you, but I hope that I was still able to fulfill what you expect from me, and that you're satisfied with my work. The minute is not over, and we have the whole handover period ahead of us. So I promise that until July, after SIPP, I will still continue to contribute to the work of the association.
Thank you, Gabriel. We will now proceed to questions to the report of Gabriel. I'll open up the floor for discussion. Do we have any comments? In ESV, go ahead.
Elena JP's in Netherlands. Well, thank you for your report. It is very detailed indeed, which we appreciate. And we do also appreciate much of the work you have done for EPSA. Your passion is very clear. However, onto your question before, because it does seem that at some aspects you're very unsatisfied about the team. And it's also clear that not the whole team, sorry, but some aspects of some people in a certain position, which also seems clear from the fact that you're now really reminding the GA that it is possible to not accept a report. But in your report, you also mentioned something that you would recommend, maybe moving faster towards removing someone from office, which is quite a drastic point. And we were wondering if you have any further suggestions, because if you just delete someone from the team, there's a lot of jobs that still need to be done. So maybe we could appreciate a little elaboration on that.
Thank you, PSV. Gabriel.
Gabriel, President. Yes, so I think that the first issue here is that it is a very drastic thing, and I don't think it should be. I actually proposed an investigation and an internal investigation on the repercussions of removing someone from office, because at this moment, if you remove someone from office, they don't get team funds, they can never be in any project from EPSA, and sometimes people are just not doing their work, and it's something that's 10-minute specific, they're just not they're not doing their work, they're not actively trying to hurt EPSA, and I don't think that they should have all these repercussions just because they're not able to fulfill their tasks, but sometimes people don't have the initiative themselves to lead. And I think that it shouldn't be that big of an issue saying that the person is not fit to continue their mandate, and I think that the process should be easier, also because in several other associations that I either work with or contacted with, it's a way more simple procedure than an EPSA and way less stigmatized. So I think this would be really good.
Thank you, Gabriel. KPSV with a direct.
In KP's Netherlands, thank you for that elaboration. In a way, we can see that indeed it may be better for EPSA to also lighten this procedure. However, can you still elaborate on what then the consequences of that would be? Because now you're solely suggesting that it has less impact on the person being removed, but you're not elaborating on what would happen to the physician, nor really coming to something that we can actually do something with, but just stating that you think it's a good idea.
Thank you, KPSV. Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, I think that first it's important to note that the people who need to stay for the handover period, well, for a set amount of weeks, which is different for men. But I think that what we need to do in those situations, obviously it's not to move directly towards removal from office. We do have needs for, or try to understand at least one or two times if we can improve the work that we have with some of the members of this mandate. If it comes to the removal from office without involving the profession, I think that the executive needs to start promoting and opening the call for position right away so that the position is filled before the team member in question
Thank you, Gabriel. We have a question from Anne. Go ahead.
Marion Anne France, thank you so much for your report, very well detailed. What do you think was lacking the most during your mandate as like the production of the team, and what would you advise for your successors? Thank you. There's no release of policies, a statement, or something like that, like, or with your commission, or like clear statement that you could have released.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Gabriel, President. So what I think is lacking the most is an accountability system. Me and Marvin already started working on this. We created an internal spreadsheet on everything that people are doing, the meetings, etc. So we're working on that and also deciding how much of that we want to share with the elected as well. And on the other hand, I think on the way we do our reports in our plan of action in the beginning of the year probably was not ideal. We changed the KPI structure that we have to have the goals and the plan of action actually the KPIs just related to the performance, which was good in a way because we are able to measure performance with the KPIs, but was bad in another way, which is that now you don't have like release 12 position papers in this year, release or yeah, release 12 market updates to the make 3 e-courses, whatever. Like you don't have specific goals in numbers in the POA, and the members don't really need to report on that in the reports, and I feel like it makes it easier to not do it this way because you don't have the goals there from the beginning. You can just report on the work done and focus on the things that you did do. So I want for during the handover period, we did an exercise for an individual handover plans in the team meeting. I want us to have a discussion right in the first week of handover about the POA structure so that we can put specific goals there that can be actually met with every single team meeting and they don't go unnoticed until we're like, oh, that's the element that's happening that's
Thank you, Gabriel. Do we have any more comments in PSV?
Elena KP's Netherlands. This is a question I'm not sure if you can answer, but any of the things that come up during the questions about the report, do we just have to assume that the position taker will like take it with them and, for example, mention it in their handover, or do you have any other suggestion if we want to see a significant change on how to see that? like, just to clarify with this case, like now we discussed the thing about how you want to handle maybe potential removal from office, and we discussed it. But how do we know that you're actually gonna, or something's gonna be done with that? Because, for example, it's too late for motions now, and what if this just gets dropped again?
Thank you. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, you don't really, I will give this suggestion to our to my successor. I'll also talk to Marlene, who will restate to our successor. In the end, it will be their decision how they want to implement it. I can ensure that the investigation that I said I will do, I will still do because I still have a few months in the mandate left about the consequences. But then it's up to the next executive to decide what they want to do with the results from that investigation, and that is out of our hands.
Thank you. KPSV with a direct. Go ahead.
Elena and KPC Netherlands, thank you for clarifying that this was not just for you or the team, but also for the rest of GA. That if anything comes up that you actually agree with, then think about it, because if we do want to make sure that it happens, then that can happen through regulation change or motion. Obviously not now anymore, but just keep it in mind that this to get something fruitful out of the GA discussions as well, because we can't just only rely on the team.
I have Gabriel with a direct.
Gabriel, President, thank you for that. I agree, and I would also like to tell you that you also have access to the team meeting reports, and usually there's only this kind of questions in the GA, but the plan of action that defines our whole plans for the mandate will be discussed not in the GA, but in the first meeting, and you only receive it through email, and you'll be able to ask questions through the spreadsheet, which are not being used that much, but I highly recommend that you get involved in the setting up of the priorities for the mandate, because it's the most important report, and it's not like getting a GA, but like if there's a report during the year that you really need to review, is the plan of that.
Thank you. KPSV.
Elena KPC Netherlands. On another point in your report, you mentioned that you want to basically that the team members have to do their handover properly, and otherwise there will be significant consequences, as it suggests not being eligible for the team fund. But just wondering, what exactly do you define as properly, and how are you going to measure that, since it's quite a drastic consequence if it doesn't happen, so it should be measurable, we think.
Thank you. Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, we agree. This is why we had the exercise during the team meeting for the individual and over plans. So now we have a document about like 43 pages where every single person put their handover plans each week. And what we're going to do is, well, when we have them, right now we have the three jobs in the market, but when we have the new president and the new CIA, they will be responsible for contacting with the new team and understanding like how it's going with their individual handover plans. Perspective, if it's not, the person is not delivering the handover. If they identify any problems, they come to me and Marlene, and we will do like an understand if we can improve it, and not only if we can really insist on them and get them to have meetings. That's when the consequences will happen. But also we will try to have everything fixed, any issues that might arise fixed before at the end of the handover period. While we don't have a vice president, vice president to control himself in the new team and the party.
Thank you, Gabriel. KPSV.
Elena KPC Netherlands. Sorry, guys, this is my final question, I think. But in the beginning of this of your presentation, you mentioned about that the GA is able to not approve a report, and you also specified it in your report yourself that it's like a huge responsibility of the LSS, which we do really agree with. But maybe this is more of a question to the rest of the GA about how we should approach this, because the thing is, like, there's a lot of positions within the team. There's a lot of reports that we read. And sometimes it can be easy to judge what you see, but much harder to judge what you don't see. And who is more aware of that is your fellow team members. And I'm wondering if there's a way that we can get us like more up to date and involved, because obviously it wouldn't be good if, for example, the president comes up to the LSs and is like, this coordinator didn't do this, this, and this, just so you know. But other than that, I'm just really afraid that now you're putting too much on the LSs and they're not actually going to make use of this, because right now, even if we see mistakes in a report, we do not fully feel comfortable to completely like reject it. And you gave a good suggestion that we can like put a 9.6 and point something better out. But that's what we struggle with. So we're hoping for input from the GA 14.
Think can PSV. We do have input from APEF.
Beatriz of Portugal, we do agree with you in this matter because uh, the team reports are a self-assessment of the work done, which means that you can glorify what you've done, or like you're supposed to say neutral on what you're saying, but if you didn't do certain tasks or if you didn't do certain thing, you're not going to write it because we are here and we can judge what you didn't do. So I think we all should gather any ideas for the future on how this can be taken into account for the team itself and LSs in general.
Thank you, APEF. Do we have any more comments? Gabriel, go ahead.
Gabriel, President, I would just restate that we'll release the POA template so that it's harder to glorify and harder to change it. There are more specific rules and metrics.
Thank you, Gabriel. Do we have any more questions or comments? I do not see. Marlene, go ahead.
Marlene VBA, sorry for jumping in when it's not my report.
No.
Also, every big project discussed normally ends up in an online executive meeting at some point. So I would also encourage you to follow those minutes because that is also a very close, up-to-date version of what we're doing, and those is nicely based on facts. And it is always approved by the executive that the information stated in there is true and confirmed of what happened. Yeah.
Thank you. Any more questions? Comments? Go ahead, Kate, please.
Okay, KPC, Elina KPC Netherlands. Well, thank you for your suggestions, or at least tips, maybe more, and thank you, Abed, for stating that they agree. We will say we are a bit disappointed that the rest of the GA doesn't even really voice their opinion on this, because this is like your main job is to check like and to give your input on what EPSA is doing, so we can all make it better together. It's okay if you don't want to say anything else now anymore, but maybe we'll think of a motion or a way to bring it up during an LS meeting, because it's now it just seems like nobody cares or read the reports, and that's a real critical point and a bit of a waste. But that's it for the discussion. Thanks.
Thank you, KPSV. Does anyone else want to ask a question or raise a comment? Anything goes. I don't see any. Marina?
Marlene VBA, I'll pass the chair back to you.
Thank you, Gabriel. To clarify, we'll proceed to the next report. To clarify, there will be a joint motion at the end of all the team reports to accept the reports. So you will have a chance to vote on this on Saturday. Yes, it's in the agenda. So, so for now, we'll move to the next position within the Friday. My bad. So we'll now move to the next position of the administrative department, and we'll have the Secretary General, Lisa Barnett Grunewald. Okay, go ahead.
Elisa section. Since writing my reports, I finished writing the last executive meeting minutes, 28 to 29 OEM minutes, and LS APR meeting minutes, and released all of them as LSs. I started writing the 30 OEM minutes and finished writing the 40 meeting minutes and shared the review. In addition, I gave input on team members' meeting reports, but I was
the notion of meeting secretaries and scrutineers in the AC participants groups on social media. I had my fortnightly meeting with Gabriel, attended the handover to the entire team, reviewed the budget proposal, and continued the preparations for the fixed meeting at 60 GA. Lastly, I attended the fixed meeting in Zagreb with Benedict, then the list of action points and LSs, then organized the APR OD and LS meeting during the AC 23 and hit the last two. And then as for my speech, it won't take very long. Overall, I just want to thank my team for everything, for always working hard, for trying your best, being passionate and being motivated, especially I feel that there's a better group to spend all my nights with. Special shout out to my lovely admin team. And for the for always their mutual support. And even though this mandate had many hardships, I felt like we were able to achieve a lot as mandate and be able to vote as a team. And I feel like we're truly doing.
Thank you, Elisa. We will now proceed to questions about the report. So I'll open up the door. Okay.
Bem-vindo ao Campo de Portugal.
Chef.
Thank you for saying the right thing. Well, first, I would thank you for all your work. The minutes are always really well written on that side. For my question, do I have reasonable?
There is no. Just go ahead. You already had.
My question is, how do you feel the workload in this position is throughout the year? Do you have any more critical times, or is it just spread out throughout the year?
Thank you, Elisa.
Elisa section, what I experienced this year is that there's like one period in the year where I am much more difficult with writing the minutes. And that's because there's an overlap between the deadlines of the 30 minutes and the GA minutes. That's also something that we have tackled. So we are going to propose a regulation change to extend the team meeting deadline so that will be able to be tackled. And I hope that my successor will have it. But for the rest of it all, I think it's pretty nice.
Thank you. We now have KPSB.
Elena KPC, the Netherlands. Well, Elisa, we are super, super proud of the work you've done this year. You found EPSA all by yourself, did a great job as a grant coordinator, even though it was super unlucky, and now you're shining in the exec. So we're super proud of everything that you've done. Now onto a question. So about the EPSA archives, you mentioned that you didn't have time to really dive into that because you had other priorities, more pressing matters to take care of, which we understand. But you also say that you do want to tell your successor to look into that. But won't your successor run into the same problems and maybe also not have time to prioritize the archives?
Thank you, Elisa.
Elisa section. Yeah, to be honest, in the beginning of my mandate, I didn't really prioritize the archives because I was trying to learn minutes and I just prefer to do other tasks and prioritize them. And I thought I could do the archives at a later time in the year, but in the end, when everything starts building up, it becomes more difficult to focus on the other tasks. But I hope that I can recommend my successor to, from the beginning, just focus on the archives. And I want to also, in the handover period, I want to really focus on trying to teach the team stuff about the archives from the beginning and really make it a handover project. So it will be a way, so the team basically will know a lot about the archives from the beginning of the mandate. So
thank you, KPSB.
Elena KPC, the Netherlands. So another point is the GA package, which we discussed during the APR LS meeting during annual reception. And you wrote in your report about a suggestion to release it in parts. And I just wanted to specify that what I meant then was not necessarily parts as in like, here's a document, here's a document, here's a document, but just have it in two sections where one is filled with documents that have already been that are already like set and taken care of. And then the other one is like the 2 weeks before with the deadline. And maybe I just wanted to ask for those who weren't at this meeting and now here for this suggestion, if they can use red or green emotion cards, because maybe if it's green, then at least you can give it to your successor, like as an advice. You don't have to do it, but just to see, because if everybody knows it, then you don't have to give it as advice. So can you show, okay, clarification? I'm not PC.
You can still apply though. Annette? No, you cannot apply, sorry. Go ahead, Anne.
Marion de France. So you want me to have one folder released earlier and another one with all the documents like 2 weeks before?
In PSV?
In KPC minutes, yes. So have two packages, because if I understand it correctly, but Dean, correct me if I'm wrong, there's quite some documents in the GA package that are already sent. So like minutes from last GA, they're already sent over email, but we get a lot of separate updates on like, I've just uploaded these minutes, I just uploaded these ones. So if you really have just like the pre-package about, for example, 4 weeks before, and then you can already look at those minutes and maybe some of the working statements. Then once the report comes in, or the package comes in with actual reports on the working statement, reports from the team, it should be maybe more understandable. That's the idea of it.
Thank you, Ken PSV. We have Elisa, go ahead.
EPSA section, yes, I do believe that it will be very beneficial to have it released in 2 parts, or I hope 2 parts. I mean, in this time, I've tried to release a GA package earlier. I, for myself, had the goal to release 3 weeks before at least, but because it's not only my work that I collaborate a lot with a lot of people, for them to put their documents also in the GA package. So it was unfortunately not really reachable, and I don't think this actually don't think we can do this like all the time, because some documents have to be worked on like a lot, and the team is under a lot of pressure before the event. So everyone has a lot of things to do. So that's why I had like a lot of separate emails sent with like, oh, this document has been updated, and then another one document got updated. But I will definitely tell my successor that it will be released in 2 parts.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions regarding the Secretary General report? As I do not see anything raised, I'll thank Elisa. We'll proceed to the next position. Now, this is the treasurer, Diego Mendes. Go ahead with your updates.
Documents treasurer. So since writing my report, I've created a tool for reimbursement of trainers' expenses for the travel event. I've reimbursed the event's expense and also the trainer's expense. I followed up with another EPSA letter in order to finalize that settlement. Liaise with the EPSA interns regarding logistics from Brussels to Slovenia. Worked on my presentation for the 15 meeting. Had a meeting with the audit committee. Attended the 15 meeting, reviewed the membership fee payments, reviewed the 17th final financial report, presented the financial documents in the OD's meeting, and liaised with Marlene and Kathy regarding the EPSA AC23. So I also wanted to take some time to ask for closing remarks. So I want to take a moment to express my gratitude for the warm welcome and the amazing friendships that I've made since joining EPSA. The support and camaraderie that I've experienced was truly humbling, and I'm sure that from this experience I've gained friends for life. Through our shared passion for student representation, we have established strong relationships that go beyond just professional connections, and I believe that also does that become a community of like-minded individuals who inspire each other to grow and achieve our goals. I'm really so thankful for every opportunity to collaborate, to learn, grow, and gossip as well alongside all of you. And I look forward to continue to building these relationships and who knows, be godfathers and godmothers for each other's children. And moving forward, thank you for being such an integral part of my journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiago. We'll now proceed to questions to the report. So I'll open up the floor and ask if anyone wants to voice something in PSV.
Elena Kempis, Viva Netherlands. Thank you so much for your report and also for your work. We really think that the change of the budget template is very beneficial for the understanding, and we really see that you've done a lot of different things to help this to benefit this position, which is also clear in your report. So I have a specific question about point 2.1.8. It's where you really want to keep the executive and the rest of the team, especially the MSs, up to date on the financial documents. And there you also mentioned something about feedback. So we just want to say that we were a bit disappointed that after Athens, well, during the AA in Athens, we suggested to immediately start a feedback moment because it was clear from GA that the way it was handled then was not very efficient. And then we only were able to give feedback, I think maybe 2 months or something before this AC, which is such a waste because many people that were there weren't even anymore in their mandate, which I also stressed in my email. And you could see that there was very little feedback. But yeah, let this just be a lesson for any team member or anyone personally. If you want feedback, ask it soon because otherwise people will forget and not put the pressure on it. Having said that, then we got to give feedback, and it was very clear that you immediately took our suggestions to heart. So that we really appreciate. And yeah, I just wonder if you still have any future plans with that feedback, or if you want to elaborate on everything that I just said.
Thank you, Ken PSV. Tiago?
Yeah, would you Yeah. Yeah, no, first of all, I'm sorry for not doing the follow-up earlier. Our things went happened after the general assembly, and I didn't manage to send that email and get feedback. I did try to work faster and get your feedback. I've talked with this already with my successor. It's already in our plans to be sure that the contact with the LS grows even more. So there's feedback that you mentioned, which is really important. And also, especially regarding the financial template, which has already gotten some comments during this event. And the feedback that you gave during that meeting will be applied in the document.
Thank you. We'll have Anef now.
Marion in France, in your report, you mentioned a possible transfer for BNP to KBC Bank, but in some other reports, it's mentioned the research for the French bank. As Gabriel mentioned, the change of region at BNP to be eligible for FDVA grants. Can you give us an update on what are the plan regarding bank?
Tiago?
Yeah, good treasurer. Yeah, we were trying at some point to have that account in France. We didn't manage to do it in time for the application. But our plans, me and Gabriel, plan to tackle this and perhaps even still in this mandate, open the account in France, trying to investigate that possibility in order to be easier for my successor to apply for the FDA.
Thank you. We now have a comment from Asper. Go ahead.
Alex Vesper, Romania. Could you provide an update for the treasurer handover guidelines? You mentioned about it.
Thank you, Tiago.
Tiago, treasurer. Well, I've been updating as I go, but I plan to do the final updates and restructure of my handover guidelines more closer to the end of my mandate, and it will also be a good opportunity to include my successor and together build this handover guidelines. So we're sure that it's easy to understand for new incomers to the treasurer position.
Thank you. And we don't have any more questions. So I'll ask again if there are any more coming from the room. I do not see any. Thank you, Tiago. And we'll proceed to the next department, being the internal affairs department. Gabriel.
Gabriel, President. So as you know, now we're very, very late on the agenda. We're having to make changes. We'll do the educational department first. Since, we'll do the educational department. Then we'll have part one of the education department. We'll do Ashley and Ashley. Okay, apologies to the PC and also to you, but okay, so we will do Katya first since she has other business to attend and she has other tasks during the AC that she needs to go to move, and then we'll do Katya. So educational department AC reports.
Thank you, Gabriel. Then we'll proceed to the other department and we'll ask Public Health and Social Services Coordinator Karina to come and present their updates and technical from KPSB.
And again, please be Netherlands, it's very clear from her body language that she does not have something else to attend to, and then in that case, we would prefer if it would be VP. And that, so could you please explain why? Because she just, it doesn't seem like she needs to, right?
Gotcha. Did we get the mic? Thank you.
Kasia Viviano was both Rahab and Katya, they are going tomorrow for science program. And for this reason, they are not able to congregate. So I want for them to do that.
Thank you. Then we'll proceed to the update from Katja. Go ahead.
Public Health Association's coordinator. Since writing my report, I reached out to Mental Health Europe for collaboration and mental health month. Next step, I made the infographics of the challenge, which I hope you are agreeing. For Immunization Week, besides inviting speakers for the webinar, which will take place on the Immunization Week. Next to that, I've come up with a piece to submit mental activity during the mental health month to the European Public Health Week. And finally, today, I have contacted the public health campaign at the
Thank you. I'll open up the floor for questions to the report. Any remarks? We'll have first KPHP followed up by Pastor.
KPC Netherlands, well, not surprisingly, Katja, we're also super proud of you, which was already noticeable when we were also proposing you. But we just wanted to say that your work as Public Health and Social Services Coordinator was really great, especially when you gave us the calendar and then really stuck to that calendar. You were really great with sending clear, colorful emails that really engaged a lot of public health and social services representatives. So that was a really good, beneficial thing for your position. We hope to see it be in your successor.
Thank you. And then we have Pastor.
Alex, Pastor Romania. Firstly, I want to congratulate you on your report and your activity. I saw that you mentioned that you had meetings with the advocacy platform coordinator, Jordan Tischer, and that you hadn't heard from him ever since. I was wondering if you could provide an update on what happened to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Katja.
Public Health and Social Services Coordinator. So when writing the report, and then after I read, I had written the report. A week before the AC, he contacted me that he sent out a doodle to open the activity action board, and we decided that it would be best to have a meeting after the AC, since we had a lot of preparing like in the 3 days before the AC. So I hope that after the AC, we can have the group established finally. I mean,
Okay, thank you. And then Ape for the direct.
Bernard Philosopher. So, in regards to this matter, why didn't you take initiative on setting up the meeting, since technically you both are co-hosting the EAG?
Thank you, Katja.
actually, the Health and Social Services Coordinator. So since the beginning of my mandate, I reached out for joining for a meeting, or 2 for the 3 meetings for establishments of the equity acting group, I waited for Jorn to open the call, and I had to wait for him to open it. Of course, you can talk to Matthew about it, but like, again, it's part of his portfolio to open the call. And of course, you said the place to do it can only be done after he makes the decision on who's going to join the equity acting group, and only then I can be proactively involved, in my opinion. And right now, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that it's still established and the people participating in this group can have a valuable addition to the campaign.
Thank you. Then we have Anand with any question? Clarification first.
Sorry. Bernard Abel. My clarification is you didn't help the people that applied for the IAG. You didn't help with the selection.
Yeah, go ahead, Katja.
No, I did not help with the selection because it was on my team and he did not ask for my help to do it.
Thank you. We'll now have the question from Anand. Go ahead.
Beatriz up in Portugal. You had a PhD today, so can we have some updates on that, how it went or not? When?
Katja.
And it was really nice campaign. We approached around 60 people, which is less than the previous campaigns we had. And I think it has to do with the location, since we were in a local village. And the previous campaign we had was in Athens, and also we did it in the morning. And I think maybe in the future we can have it in the afternoon, so that if we have a contest during the week where people are working, we can have the campaign after working hours or in the last session, so that we have a broader population. But in terms of quality of the engagement, a lot of people were very enthusiastic about chemical vaccination. There were also some people that already took the vaccine. There were people that didn't know about vaccination and thought it was part of their regular vaccination program who actually filled in actually were motivated to go to the doctor with the vaccine. So I think in terms of quality, we really made a change there. But I think that logistically wise, campaigns, these campaigns will be enough to do the program and also that a lot of people use it. So that might be a nice thing to think about.
Thank you, Katja. We'll have a direct from Abel. Go ahead.
Beatriz up of Portugal. We can suggest that instead of doing the number of people you reach as a whole, because it can be very volatile. Like if you're in a smaller city, you will probably reach less people because there are less people in that place. So we can suggest that it's done at like a comparable type of measurements, just for the numbers don't look like you didn't do your job even if you did, or if you approach a lot of people just because there were many people around, that not an actual effective way of proposing the whatever theme it is.
Thank you. Katja.
Actually, public health and social service coordinator, I think it's a very good suggestion. And I will take it up with my successor in the handover period, because it's also part of the action plan of action, the KPIs. And I think we could use, for example, the one numbered the QR codes, or like the booklets we had for red or printed out, and everything like percentage. So if you have a smaller campaign and then a smaller amount of booklets, it just shows you how many there were handed out. I still think it's always hard to like put the campaign into numbers. So we always elaborate on what effect it has. But I do think it's
Thank you. We now have a question from Anna.
Marion and France, how would you describe the current workload you have on your portfolio as a PHSS? And do you think there is still place to implement some new project? As an example, social services or
Thank you, Katja.
Katja, really helpful service coordinator. Right now, in terms of hours, I think I spend around 8 hours per week on positions. That's like a very direct reflection of the workload. I do think there's space to prioritize social services more and humanitarian actions. I think it's a matter of choice on what you prioritize in the mandate, and it's not a matter of workload. Yeah, I don't know what to say more. I still have 12 weeks to go, so maybe I can already take that suggestion in mind. Also, while we're working on that zero discrimination campaign, and we can maybe sustain that topic in collaboration with IPSF because or our reformer campaign with IPSF was focused on the health campaign topic. This one is focused on a more social service slash humanitarian topic.
Thank you, Katja. We now have a question from KPSB.
Eline Campy, Sweden, Netherlands. Just as a small remark, you mentioned the contact with the public health and social service coordinators, and we have a WhatsApp group. But just as a suggestion for you and for your successor to use that even more actively, reminders for deadlines to participate in the thing, or in the campaigns in the project. Also, if they have been uploaded to like EPSA social media, because then you can have those also promoted in their local associations, which would really expand the reach of the campaigns.
Thank you. We'll have a direct from Apef and then from Katja.
Bernard Appel as well. Adding to this, also to reach out to, not reach out, but find a way to make when LS change mandates, mid absence mandates, to find a way to contact those PHRs because I can give my example. I didn't know of this one, but suddenly I and to have that contact is also.
Thank you, Apef. Katja.
I think you address very good points. For example, like engagement in WhatsApp group, I think it was lacking. And it's like I think from my side, it can be very much improved very easily. So it will like be my peer study, and I will make sure that my successor also knows it. In regards to the general memory movement and also seeing and knowing when people change mandates and actively, proactively approaching them, I think it's also a very good point. And it might be something that I didn't spend much time on this year. I still have 12 weeks, so I will try to see which people switch mandates in those 12 weeks. But for the rest of all things, I'll put my success and I'll take it very seriously because I think it's very important for this project to be seen and to be visible. And that's and I just really engaged. So I really will take your work to heart.
Thank you. We do not have any more points, more questions. And I don't see any, so we'll conclude. Thank you so much, Katja, for your updates. We'll proceed to the next position. Wolf, right? Or Rahab? You go, right? Okay. Wolf it is. Just a technical break while I. Okay, so Bob, go ahead with your update.
Hi everyone, Roger Stanley, Special Affairs Coordinator. Since the submission of the report, I finished the survey of patient education with the help of Charlotte, the coordinator. We released it yesterday. Um, we overall we have around 200 answers now without the online promotion. I finished the course for trainers only last week from the training board. Um, because a lot of trainers, it's for trainers, and since a lot of them are in AC, we will release it next Monday. I make the template for the educational outcomes for the notes for people to take them. I brief the team and the participants that are taking them, the participants to the digital platform. I took outcomes of the session and I'll continue until the end. I organized Eric's website yesterday and I did a workshop this afternoon about the importance of platform learning and I'll prepare the training that I will deliver next Saturday.
Thank you, Bob. And we'll proceed to questions to the Educational Affairs Coordinator. I'll ask technical from you. Or is it dropped? Okay, thank you. We proceed to the questions. We first had Pastor.
Alex, Pastor Romania, first of all, congratulations on your report. I wanted to ask you, I saw you mention that communication regarding the EPSA team was not optimal, in your opinion, so if you can elaborate on that.
Move.
More educational affairs coordinator. Yes, we have some issues in my opinion. When we have a town hall 1 month ago, there were some problems regarding what was going to be discussed, what was discussed, and the outcome in my opinion. Yeah. And also like regarding personal projects that I have with other coordinators, since it was the end of the, not the end of the project, but since it was close to AC, everyone had a lot of work and everyone was involved in their own project. So it was hard to communicate.
Thank you. And direct from Pastor.
Pastor Alex, Pastor Romania, thank you. And in the end, they were resolved in a good, bad way, or could you tell me that? Thanks.
Move.
I'll be honest, I'm still not happy with the outcomes of the session because it happened and we cannot do that. Otherwise, certain measures have been made, especially in the last weekend, we talked about these issues and for them to not happen.
Thank you, Move. Kim PSV.
Any piece with amendments to add on to the team vibes. And we read a suggestion for an inter-team party system that could be set up. And we actually think that may be very nice for the team to have. So we just wanted to stress that and you can take it for the next team that they can think about.
Thank you. And for the questions to the Area Affairs Coordinator, we have Arthur, followed by me, and then again, so take it away Arthur, for the first one. And the second one is
Bedankt, Arthur. Well, I wanted to make also a comment on when you asked for feedback on the patient survey, the patient education survey. The time frame on it was a bit unfortunate because it was only a week, and it was on the week of the AR, and some of us were a little busy, and I was also traveling to the AR, so I didn't have the time to look closely at the survey. Does it have any justification to be such a little time frame for us to give some feedback on it for such an important
answer. Thank you. Mo?
I'm not really good about this. I have request for the background, because unfortunately, the thing is, it was a collaboration with the network, and even though we say like the larger timeline, it becomes for us to use the network before we set up the rules and know who is going to actually engage and participate in this way. We really wanted to this policy, and since they also actually after the meeting and the analysis, we couldn't like postpone the next policies even the network could have at only 1 week, and since they are most of the time taking more time to answer, it was a choice we made. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mo. We now have Anef. Go ahead.
Marion de France, what do you think about dropping the educational outcome booklet? Thank you. Outcome, sorry.
Thank you, Mo.
I'm an educational affairs coordinator. In my opinion, we should not stop them. They were very beneficial this year in a way. They were first beneficial for students. A lot of them sending my DMs to ask more details about precise sessions, asking me details of numbers, email contacts of the speakers, because they were interested in networking. So yeah, but besides the students, the outcomes, educational outcomes project is not only for them. We had a lot of good feedback from the speakers. For example, before every event, we need to find speakers. It's a very hard task. Even though we finished everyone and having a wonderful educational program, it's super hard to reduce them to one. So we use that booklet to convince and shorten what we asked. I personally use the class for my internship providers, and super happy to have this overall view, as well as partners. I know that you have a particular business in the partners, and it's super useful. Also, for this convention, a few months ago, we didn't have the grants, but it also helped for the grants because it's a very nice material to talk. So, no, in my opinion, we should adopt them. I work with you to implement them. If you see like the evolution, they change a lot. We know of the more attractive booklets, even though we are looking for promotion, they are really good. And regarding the cost of the time spent by the team to take them, we also are trying to implement that. We require the help of the teacher from the support fund for this event, and so far it has been great. We are also investigating to ask the LP team members to take outcomes, since most of the time they are spending at the sessions. It can be also a possibility. We just need to work that, work with them like earlier, because it mustn't be like a surprise when they come to the event. Some of them will be people. So
Thank you. And a question from Afef.
Beatriz up of Portugal. Our last question would be in the sense of the methodology booklet that is in the ways of moving or not out of your portfolio. We want to know what you envision it to be, what if you think it should go out of your portfolio or not. Everything related to that.
Thank you. Abed, move, go ahead.
More educational affairs coordinator. This week we changed the way we proceed with the bucket because we involved the network with external people. Honestly, it was hard for me to do so because I wasn't, I'm not saying this is like external. In my opinion, I would agree on moving them to the responsibility of the department if we continue to work with the network. Since now it has been very successful and we got a wonderful feedback from them. So I would be for moving the responsibility to the EA department. But obviously, it will still be a collaboration between the two departments. Education and coordinator must be a position that is involved with that project. And yeah, and just regarding the workload, I would just stress out to the next policy coordinator of the huge workload that will be on that project, because we already had a meeting with one of the previous policy coordinator to ask the kind of body and roller for that project. So it would be
Thank you. And do we have any more questions to the report? Most? I don't see any in the room, so thank you both. We'll proceed to the next position. I have Sayed, sales coordinator, so I'll ask you to join me in front, please. And please, yeah, please present your updates since the writing of the report. Go ahead.
Bribe science coordinator. Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for being here. I will present to you my fifth meeting report. After the submission of the report, after the submission of the report, I have successfully completed the organization of the 13th EPSA Science Day that took place today and the AC. In addition to that, I've been working on two editions of Science Monthly. The April edition, which has six submissions, six articles, and the May edition, for which we are collaborating with externals. I've been working on the second edition of PSSP. In addition to that, I have organized a workshop here with the AC and I've been contacting speakers for a second webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now proceed to the questions from the delegates. I'll open up the floor. Abed?
Bernardo Papa, Portugal. Since the Science Day happened today, no, yeah, sorry. Since it happened today, could you tell if it went good or bad? If you have any of that feedback from yourself or from the participants?
Thank you. And I have?
In my opinion, it went smoothly, and I felt that the participants were happy. I didn't have time to send feedback, like survey for their feedback, but I will do this in the near future. And I think here we have two participants that agree with me. I'm glad to see them. That's all.
Thank you. And Ira from LPSA?
So I'm EPSA Latin, and as a participant for Science Day, I can tell that organization was well done, and all questions were answered quickly, as well as today's session was really comfortable and interesting for all the participants, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, LPSA. Do we have any more questions, comments, remarks? Anything comes? I do not see any. Then I'll thank you have for your updates in the report, and we can proceed to the next, being Katarzyna Dąbrowska, Vice President of Education. So go ahead and please present us your updates.
Katarzyna Kasia, since I submitted my report, I participated in the 15 meeting. I finished the schedules for both the AC-23 symposium and the AC-23 educational program in general. I moderated the AC-23 symposium and had meetings with speakers and other members and the reception committee in order to discuss the AC-23 educational program and the logistics of the event. I set up Eventbrite registrations for the AC-23 educational program and corrected the education program registrations. So I would like to thank the team because my position like involves collaborating with a lot of people. So from the team, so I would like to thank the executive and the team for putting efforts to make our collaboration as smooth and fruitful as possible. And I would like to especially thank my amazing department. Like during AA, I felt that we are good teammates, but also friends. So during our Monday, we achieved a lot of goals, and also lifelong friendship.
Thank you, Kasia. Thank you. We'll now proceed to the questions to the reports. I'll open up the floor and we'll take Ahmed first.
Beatriz Alba, Portugal. Do you have any opinions on how the symposium went and what could be done to improve? Since like we had some speakers that dropped last minute, from what I understood, and that it was a whole logistical thing, probably for you, and it has a lot of implications on your work. So we would like to know more about that situation, how you handled it, or how you could have handled it differently. Thank you.
Thank you. Kasia, go ahead.
When it comes to symposium, I think we should definitely stick to panel because it was good, and we should strive to have at least four speakers because like my experience is that for almost each panel once which is very unfortunate. But also the topic of neurogenerative disease was very difficult to find for me speakers, and it's very nice, but not very easy to find it. Yes, so definitely four speakers, or at least for each panel. So we are prepared that, okay, someone drops, it happens. We had three speakers in the panel discussion. So that would be my first suggestion when it comes to panels. And the second one, like in my opinion, is good to have diversity. So patient representatives, caregivers, professional associations, students associations. We wanted to have patients for AC-23, so we didn't, but yeah, I think we also have
Thank you very much, Kasia. We have a direct from KPSV. Go ahead.
Again, KPSV, the Netherlands. So on the topic of making or like reviewing the symposium, although I'm not sure if this is the moment for it, but at least then we know it. We just feel like it maybe is a bit too long, and then you lose the attention of some of the participants, which we much shared in the OT chat. So yeah, we do think, of course, symposium is a super great part of the Congress and should still be there, but maybe we can think of a way to decrease the length and or maybe change it in the program. And I think I see some general agreement that at least that needs to be looked at.
Thank you. Go ahead, Kasia.
I think we maybe should have like at least 2 breaks in the future. So I think that's for the AA-23. We'll try to meet the educational officer, try to create different. So we'll have 2 breaks, and then maybe the panels will be shorter. Yeah, so we'll try to find the most
Thank you, Kasia. Direct from Ahmed. Go ahead.
Marion in France, and it could be an option to like get them more separated instead of like one break through all week. I don't know if it's clear or not.
A clarification from Kasia.
Could you please clarify?
Annette, go ahead.
Marion, Alep, France. I mean, right now we have two sessions, like one in the first day and one in the second one in the morning. Does that be possible to maybe have like one morning on the first, second, third days to be like not like 5 hours straight to the morning?
Thank you, Kasia.
Kasia, so if I understand, like 2 hours, let's say in the morning, then workshops, and then 2 hours, right? I mean, we can see how we do this. If I recall well, during one of the conferences, we had symposia in the afternoon, and the participants were just a little bit more tired. But yes, I do agree that maybe we could split it, if it worked well, but it wouldn't be like 5 hours. No.
Thank you. And we have a direct from Faster. Okay, technical from Melissa, sorry. We'll take that.
EPSA section, I just wanted to update you all that we now have one less voting member present. So now there are 19 voting members.
Thank you, Elisa, for the update. We'll proceed to the direct from Faster. Go ahead.
Alex, West from Romania. Regarding the comment about the symposium, if I understood correctly, it wasn't something like throughout the week, or like not even a single day, or did I understood correctly? Like instead of 2 days of symposium, maybe 4 with shorter windows of symposiums, something like that.
Kasia.
There are different options, and yes, we could also try to do this. So maybe it would be nice to also form or assess also or open analysis to see like what suggestions you have, because I can see that you have a lot of suggestions, and I'm very happy with them, and I'm sure that also my successor is very happy. And so yeah, we can definitely discuss it later on. Also, I will probably ask you about the funnels. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kasia. Do we have any more questions? Go ahead, Kate Busy.
Eline again, please, Netherlands. We also just wanted to stress that we think you made a really great report, many details, and you did really great in your position this year. And we also especially liked that you organized education activities for the team, because even though they're good at work, it's always good for them to learn as well. So we just wanted to take a moment to also give you that compliment, because there were also some pretty great reports in the package.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Kasia.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any more comments, questions? EPSA, go ahead.
Because of piece of Greece, we also want to congratulate you on your work this Monday. And just a question from us. A lot of participants were a little bit stressed this year and the past Mondays about the Eventbrite platform. And do you have maybe any alternatives in mind for your success on this?
Go ahead, Kasia.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. As you may saw the report also of the chairperson of the A23, there were some issues in the past also with Everbright. I made some changes for the AC in order to make it smoother, but still not as smooth as it could be. So the thing is that this platform is free. So this is the reason why we use it. And as far as I know, the other platforms are free. So we would need to assess how feasible it would be for us to have other platforms and how much we need to pay for this. So yeah, I would like to
during the handover period, I would like to discuss with my successor how she sees it and maybe do some research and see if something could be changed in the future.
Thank you. A direct from password. Sorry. Can we proceed to the new point from EPSA?
Thanks, Visa, please. We would like to ask you about the point that we read at the chairperson of the previous report, that the educational affairs, the educational coordinator of the RC should be more evident during the events because they have put a lot of effort into setting the program along with the vice president of education, and they would like to get a bit more sign during the event maybe. And we would like to ask your thoughts about that. Thank you.
Thank you, GPSF. Go ahead, Kasia.
Kasia, yes, I do agree, because the speaker that we had for the AC is effort of Stella and me. And I definitely think that when the report was submitted, we already had the schedule ready, so we didn't modify it. But for the AC, basically, I would like to also include the scenario from the education officer, media group, and then the president. So there will be also a recognition for the educational officer.
Thank you, Kasia. We'll now have GPSF. Go ahead.
FTPC, please. Thank you for your answer. Another question in the same topic. Sometimes during the changes of mandates, and since we are discussing possible changes on the structure of the symposium, the educational affairs of the RC might feel a bit lost, or some information might get lost and not passed on during the handover to the next vice president of education. How would you ensure that this will not happen this year? Thank you very much.
Thank you, GPSF. Kasia.
I would strive to have at least 2 meetings with both RCs. This one includes the RC of the SU23. I'm sure we'll have more meetings because the SU is project, so we'll have more meetings anyway. And I would also like to organize a meeting with the RC of the SU23 so that we could also explain how the communication works and like we also know where they can find information, because we can explain them some things during meetings, but most of the things they will need to themselves in emails, they will need to folders and the materials. So yes, I think this would be my goal.
Thank you, Kasia. We have no one on the speaking list, so I'll ask if there are any more questions. Kasia, on the report. I do not see any, then I think we can proceed to the next one. Thank you, Kasia. Technical from KPSV, go ahead.
And in KPC, the Netherlands, just to ask exec, is it possible to look into the schedule if we can end this? Because I mean, we are like not continue till 8 and see the possibilities. Like, I also want to see the tiers tomorrow, so I can still continue. But still, okay, you know, you're answering me, sorry.
Gabriel, go ahead.
Gabriel, President, maybe I'll do an assessment of the floor indeed. We have to take the executive motion as part 1 to 10 minutes. It will be super fast today still, but the 35 minutes that we have predicted for the ER department, we could do tomorrow after lunch in the placeholder GA if you prefer. It's not that much time that it wouldn't allow us to do it. So if you prefer that, just put the green card up.
Do we agree with the proposal to take the executive motions 1 and ER later?
Just ER.
Yeah, ER later. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, then we'll change the agenda. And you can skip the agenda.
There's a clarification from EPSA.
Mr. Brandt, I didn't understand. Like, if we move this for tomorrow, will it do something with the safety and etc. Or
Gabriel,
President, we were already expecting that we would need to use the placeholder GA, so we are already set for the latest part of the site scene. In case we will need to use the placeholder GA, so it's 35 minutes. Only 35 minutes. Probably it will be, would not affect.
thank you. So
Gabriel, President, then continue with my technical. Yeah, technical motions. I will utilize it after. Okay, so our guests from ESSAS, the European Healthcare Students Association Summit, will need to leave tomorrow. So we wanted to bring this motion about the ESSAS Summer University here already today, so that we can officially sign our collaborative agreement and take the next step into our collaboration on interprofessional collaboration. And I'll leave it up to you.
Thank you, Gabriel. I'll read out the motion proposed by the EPSA executive. The motion reads: the 65th General Assembly mandates the EPSA executive to liaise with the European Health Students Association Summit, EXTAS, in order to organize an EXTAS Summer University in 2024. With this, the 65th EPSA General Assembly agrees that in 2024 there will not be an EPSA Summer University, therefore suspending the articles 23.1.3, 23.1.7, and 23.3.8 of the terms of reference. I will open up the floor for discussion. Gabriel with the technical.
Gabriel, President, if there are no questions, I will close the floor for discussion.
Thank you, Gabriel. Then we will proceed to the voting procedure. I'll ask the room who is against, who abstains, and who goes for. Thank you. We have 19 votes for, none against, no abstentions. The motion was carried unanimously. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, thank you so much for this vote, and thank you for your involvement in the discussion of this proposal in the past few months. I really believe, and we as executive really believe, that this is the most important step that we can take towards our efforts in interprofessional collaboration. I would also like to thank the European Healthcare Association, and I would like to ask Benedict, the President of the European Nursing Student Association, to come here as we sign the collaborative agreement. The other ESSA members have either already signed or they're yet. She's currently in another meeting. She will sign right after the GA, but I still wanted us to have this moment. Benedict? And it's time. All right, I will not take any more time from your agendas today. Thank you for the hard day of discussions, and I hope to see all of you in the University next summer.
Thank you, Gabriel. And we have a technical from KPSV. Go ahead.
In KP's the Netherlands, sorry, maybe I was too fast, but are we now also now going to do the training coordinator just to finish with the educational department? Or was that never the plan? Are you going to do that tomorrow?
Short technical break. Gabriel, go ahead.
Gabriel, President? No.
Okay, so the training coordinator position will be when will we get a clarification when will it be? Yeah, Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, the only thing that's not updated is the live agenda is the ER department that we just moved. I will move to the place, the first place will be tomorrow after lunch. All other updates have been done. The internal affairs department will be split into two slots because Chloe is not available tomorrow. The educational affairs department, part two with Vita will be tomorrow morning. And the approval of the reports will be on Saturday only after Chloe has answered the questions. And also Olivia. So, no, it's not right. But it will be, it's in the right sections of the right order. It will be Saturday morning, the second session.
Thank you, Gabriel. So we conclude this session. Yes, okay. We conclude this session and then we'll proceed to the roll call. Elisa?
Elisa, then I will perform a roll call. I have Athens, Austria, CPSA Croatia, CPSA Czech Republic, and France, CPHD Germany, GPSF Greece, LPSA Latvia, SFA Lithuania, GPC Netherlands, EPSA Belgium delegated to GPC Netherlands, GPSA Poland, AFIF Portugal, Kosovo Romania, Nostra Serbia, SPSA Slovakia, Shusha Slovenia, PEF Spain, EPSA International Turkey, EPSA Ukraine.
There with us while we count the voting of these. Elisa?
Elisa, second, I've collected 90 voting cards.
And as to spend this